Hey BookTube, it's Sarah and welcome back to my channel, The Book Bag. So I'm super excited because I recently got the most exciting arc in the mail. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I've already actually pre-ordered it as soon as it was announced and available for ordering online. But then Simon & Schuster very kindly sent me an arc of Zachary Ying and the Emperor Dragon by Xiran Jay Zhao. So, if you have seen my previous videos about this author's debut novel, Iron Widow, then you know that I am obsessed with them. They are like my new favorite author. I will buy anything that they write. Like, I know everyone says they would read their grocery lists, but I would read Xiran's grocery lists, and I just think they're like the coolest person ever. In my Iron Widow video, I did get to do like a little meet and greet with them because of my work, and I talked about that in the video. So that was super exciting, and so I've been looking forward to getting my hands on this book. So this comes out on May 10th, and it is a middle grade novel, so it's their debut middle grade novel that is pitched as Chinese Percy Jackson meets Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, so I cannot attest to how accurate that is, but it does really give Chinese Percy Jackson vibes. So this follows Zachary Ying, whose VR headset gets possessed by the spirit of the first emperor of China, and he is kind of conscripted into this quest to seal a portal that connects the mortal realm with the Chinese underworld before all these like spirits get loose. He's also joined by two other kids who are being possessed by a couple other figures from Chinese history. There is a lot of Chinese history and kind of mythology in this book, which is super interesting because in Western societies we talk like not at all about Chinese mythology or history or any of that. I think in grade 6 we had like one unit on China, and I feel like the only thing I retained from that was learning about the terracotta warriors, and I'm pretty sure we did not learn the correct thing about the terracotta warriors either. Regardless, it was really interesting reading a lot of the Chinese history in this because that's something that Xiran is very passionate about. They talk about it all the time on like their Twitter, and they have a lot of really cool YouTube videos talking about Chinese history as well as like representation in media. So I would highly recommend you watch all their videos. So one of the historical figures in this is Wu Zetian, who was China's first and only female emperor. This is the same historical figure that was the inspiration for the main character in Iron Widow, and it was really interesting to see the difference between the two of them because in Iron Widow she's like very ambitious and like aggressive and like kill the patriarchy. It's like a feminist revolution and she's very aggressive and violent. Whereas in this one, she's a side character and she's much more like kind of charming, a little bit manipulative, still very ambitious and like driven, but she uses her like charm rather than the rage that's in the first book. There's obviously different audiences for the two books. This is a middle grade book, Iron Widow is a young adult book, and different themes, different things they're trying to portray. So it's really interesting to see how you can like interpret a historical character differently depending on like what you need from that character. Overall, this was like a really wild ride of a book. I find that Xiran's books are really fast-paced. There's always something happening. So if you want something where it just like does not stop, then this is definitely for you. I've seen some people on Twitter be like, I have ADHD and I have a hard time with like books that take a pause, and this book does not take a pause. So I just like love it so much because it keeps you engaged. So if you've got ADHD and are struggling to read books, then Iron Widow or this one seems to be right up your alley. So this was super fun. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. One of the similarities to Iron Widow is that it ends on like a massive cliffhanger, so I'm sure this will be a series as well, because if there's not a second book to this, I'm gonna lose my mind. But I'm like 90% sure there's gonna be another book. So I'm excited for that. I think it really has the potential for kind of a Percy Jackson style series where you've got like 6 or 7 books. I can't remember how many Percy Jackson has, but where you've got several books because it talks so much about Chinese history, and there's obviously a lot of history there. You could talk a lot about that. So I think there's lots of kind of historical things that they could mine to come up with more things for the characters to do. But yeah, I've not read a middle grade book since I was like in junior high school, but I really enjoyed this. It was really interesting as well to see the difference between like the writing voice in this one versus Iron Widow. I really feel like Xiran has adapted their style for the middle grade audience a bit more. And it was just like I can't really say what exactly is different about it, but there is like a noticeable difference between the two books. So I just thought that was really well done. Another really cool thing in this is that Zachary Ying and his mom are Hui Chinese? I don't know if that's how you say it. But they're Muslim and Chinese, and I had never read a book with that identity before, so I thought that was really interesting. They also talk about kind of the different ethnicities within China, which was really cool too. So it's just like very like educational book while still being lots of fun, and a good like there's a good little like heist aspect in here too, which is really fun. But yeah, I would really recommend this even if you don't generally read middle grade books, because I don't, but I really had a good time with it. So well done. And I'm going to just be stalking Xiran's Twitter now, waiting for them to announce number 2 of this and also number 2 of Iron Widow, because I now have a Xiran-shaped hole in my heart waiting for these next books. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you've read any of their books, because I need more people to scream with about their stuff. I'm still desperately trying to convince my boyfriend to read Iron Widow, so I'll let you know if that ever happens. But please do let me know if you've read any of their works, and I hope to see you down in the comments. Also, Xiran, if you see this video, which I don't think you will because I have 65 subscribers, but like, you seem really cool. We should be buds. Or maybe don't watch this. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I don't know how to start sentences if I don't start them with so. This is a video where it's just what book you should read based on what mental illness you think you have.